Mr. Truffesy.
Sir, can you tell us your name, spelling your last name?
Andrew Dittman, Dittman.
And sir, what's your occupation?
I'm an investigator with the St. Croix County Sheriff's Office.
How long have you been an investigator?
A couple of years. I've been employed with the Sheriff's Office since 2012.
Okay. And in your role as an investigator, is part of your job, interview witnesses, take statements, things that they might tell you?
Yes.
And was that your role in this particular matter, that you were to take statements from witnesses who might have some information?
Correct.
Okay. And do you recall either yourself or being present with another officer when there were interviews taken of Ryan Nelson, Juwan Cockfield, Owen Peliquin, Alex Vang, and Landon Weir?
Yes.
You were present for all of those?
Correct.
Those interviews, were they recorded?
Yes.
And they were recorded how, sir?
At the time, we had visual labs, which would have been an application, a body cam application through our cell phone.
And do you recall whether or not each one of those interviews of those 5 people were recorded?
They all were recorded.
And that recording was captured and provided to the DA's office, is that right, to your knowledge?
Yes.
I want to ask you very few questions on this, but there's been testimony from witnesses regarding what they mentioned to officers during their interview, okay?
Okay.
You interviewed Juwan Cockfield. Did Juwan Cockfield ever tell you during your interview with him that Mr. Mew was looking for little girls?
Not that I recall. He did not say that.
If he would have said that, is that something you would put in a report?
Our job is to be fact finders and document everything as best as we can, accurately.
So your job, you're not really to pick sides, you're just kind of to get the information in and then get it back out, right?
Correct.
Okay. And in our jobs, maybe people don't think about this, but telling a police officer that someone's looking for little girls, you're not going to let that go without trying to dig a little deeper if you hear that, right?
Correct.
Okay. So if he would have said to you, I've been told by Mr. Mew that he was looking for little girls, that's something that would have drawn your attention, right?
Yes.
Okay. Same question with Ryan Nelson, sir. Your interview with Ryan Nelson, did he ever mention, or he never mentioned to you, right, that Mr. Mew told him that he was looking for little girls?
And I guess all the interviews, I was never told anything that anybody was looking for little girls.
So you'd agree, Mr. Cockfield, Mr. Nelson, Mr. Peliquin, Mr. Vang, and Mr. Weir, none of them in their interviews with you, which were recorded, mentioned to you that Nick Mew told them he was looking for little girls, right?
To my recollection, I do not believe that was ever said.
And again, for each one of these people, especially if you heard it over and over again, that might be something you would really document then, because there's continued statements regarding it, right?
Correct.
And you didn't, right?
Correct.
That's all.
Mr. Anderson?
One thing you heard over and over from the witnesses you interviewed was that this turned physical when Nikolai punched the blonde girl, right?
Correct.
Owen said he believed she punched, or Nikolai punched her, right?
Yes.
And the other boys all saw they actually witnessed Nikolai punch the blonde girl.
Correct.
And that's what turned the incident physical.
Yes, from my recollection, that's when I was told that chaos ensued, was when the punch was thrown.
Nothing else.
Mr. Truffesy?
Mr. Vang told you that Mr. Mew slapped the girl, right?
Correct.
So he didn't say that he punched her. Right?
Sometimes, I guess people classify punch and slap. It's what the person's viewing.
Well, you'd agree a punch and a slap are different things.
They could be, yes.
You agree that you testified under oath that everyone told you it was a punch, right?
I was present during all the interviews that took place.
What,
To get to the nitpicky, I'd have to review who told me who punched and who slapped.
I guess what I'm asking you is you just told Attorney Anderson that all of those people told you that that Mr. Mew punched this girl in the face, right?
That was brought up multiple times through the interviews that we had conducted, that there was punching, and I don't recall exactly who said he had been, or that he had given a slap.
Okay, if I told you Alex Vang said open hand, have any reason to dispute that's what's on tape?
I do not.
Okay. Some of those people also told you that she was knocked down into the water. Is that right?
Correct.
Some people told you that she wasn't knocked down to the water, right?
Correct.
They all told you that the injuries that were suffered on the river only occurred after Mr. Mew was attacked, though, right?
I guess, what do you mean by that?
Well, they told you that he was punched in the face, right?
Okay.
Yes?
Yes.
They told you that some of them might have told you that he was then hit multiple times, correct?
Correct.
Some of them told you that the group,
Judge, I'm gonna object on leading and also the beyond the scope of cross.
Sustained on leading.
sustained on, okay. Would you agree that some people that you interviewed explained to you what they observed happening to Mr. Mew after he was punched?
Yes.
Okay. And those descriptions included their belief that he was being attacked. Is that fair?
Yes.
And you know that after that happened, what I just said to you,
Objection leading again.
I'm not,
Let's get the question in first and then make the objection.
you know through your investigation and the interviews that you've conducted, sequentially, after these people told you what they observed happening to Mr. Mew, that's when the incident with the knife occurred, correct?
Objection leading.
Is that?
It is, but it's harmless in this instance. Overruled.
Is that right?
That'd be accurate.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Anderson?
Any of the interviews you're involved in between, any of the interviews, well, did you interview anyone from the Carlson's group?
I do not believe so.
So you were involved with all the interviews with the boys that were with Isaac?
Correct.
And do you remember, we'll start they're all consistent on the first time it turned physical was Nikolai striking the blonde girl, whether it was a punch or a slap.
Yeah, I recall, I believe it was Owen that said that he had observed a closed fist punch.
And then later he clarified, he said he believed that Nikolai had punched her, right?
Correct.
Nothing else.
Thank you, investigator. You may step down.
Thank you.
Is there another witness?
He's on hold, busy.